Hi, good afternoon, all. We'll wait for another 2-3 minutes for the rest of the folks to join in, and then we'll start off with today's session. Hi, all. I think I just want a quick check if I am audible and both the screen is getting replicated at your end. If both of them are happening, just a quick thumbs up to give me a confirmation there. If any of you are having any audio issues or unable to see the screen, you can put that in the chat window and I can probably go ahead and check my settings there. Correct. Thank you so much. We'll wait for another 2 minutes and we'll start at 3:05. Today's session is going to be roughly about, I think, me talking and walking you through about the tools, the reports for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then we'll keep the rest of it to cover the queries. There were quite a lot of queries which came in yesterday. We could answer a few of them. We could not cover the remaining. So we'll have good ample time today to cover if there were any queries we could not address yesterday. In the meanwhile, I can see one question in the chat window by Omkar. Can we get yesterday's session material and recordings? Unfortunately, Omkar, we can't share the recording, but a demo link was shared yesterday, which could be a good post-session reference. Go ahead and view that. So a demo link of how to enable the first campaign can guide you in terms of the steps, but unfortunately, we can't share the recording. Great then. It's 3:05, so we'll start off with today's content. Um, Today is session 2 of our Amazon Ads Basics for New Global Sellers series. Yesterday in our session, we covered basics about ads, the foundation, why a new seller, a new brand launching their business and taking it globally needs to invest in ads. We talked about a couple of case studies, and then towards the end, we moved towards a live demo of launching your first automatic targeting campaign. Today, what we are going to start off the session is with understanding the basics on learning what is working for you. And how do we do that is we'll use Amazon's reports. We'll start off with a basic report of Amazon's search term. Whenever you run an automatic targeting campaign, that's one tool on which we can rely and get the basic understanding of which search term is giving you a click, which search term is giving you an order. Then we'll spend some time on manual targeting. We'll cover both the aspects of keyword targeting and product category targeting. A couple of tips I'll share on how you can plan your campaigns for both of these targeting techniques. And then we'll move into a live demo of downloading and analyzing a sample report as well. So this is what we have. Um, yeah, this is what we have for today's content. And perfect, let's get started. Just before that, I see one question from Sanjay. Can I attend this webinar again on some other day as something urgent has come up? Please go ahead, take up that urgent work. We do this on a monthly basis. So, I mean, unfortunately, there's going to be the March session, which will come up and that you can attend. None of the sessions on a similar topic are actually planned in Feb. But yeah, there's an option of you to come back in March and then you can attend it. I will start off with the content. And today, like I pointed out, we are going to talk about learning from our advertising reports, how you can gain insights, and how you can plan for your next steps for growth. And a good chunk of 30 minutes we'll keep for Ask Me Anything on Amazon ads. But again, keeping things engaging like we did yesterday, what we are going to do is start off with a quick knowledge check, a quick pulse check in terms of understanding that how confident do all of you feel in terms of reading an ads performance report on Amazon today. The poll question is on your screens and it has three options. You are not confident, which means you're not really sure about where do I find these reports and how can I access, how can I gain insight from these reports. Second is confident, that okay, you do have a knowledge of all of these basics and very confident as you are using the data, you're relying on that data, and you're taking your advertising decisions. We'll spend the next 30 seconds allowing all of you to go ahead and enter your response. That helps us understand how much time, how much in detail we have to go in today's topic. Let's take another 15-20 seconds and then we can move on with the content. Go ahead. I can still see there's a good percentage of you who are yet to answer and enter in your response. Ten more seconds and then I close this particular poll and we move ahead with today's topic. Super. In the meanwhile, I see one question from Kamaraj. Where is yesterday's demo link? I've just pasted. You can use that and refer to it post today's session. So now we have about 70-80% of you answering today's poll, and the responses are 50% of you feel that you are confident in reading certain reports and how to gain insights from it, whereas there is an equally high 45% of you are highlighting that you are not at all confident. Well, today's session is for both. We will talk about in detail where you can access these reports, how you can read certain insights from these reports. And in terms of the audience who still feels confident, we'll try and add certain insights so that you can get and gain something additional from today's. To start off, the main idea of having so many reports or so much of data within ads console is to facilitate learning. Yesterday, when we talked about Amazon ads as a key lever to push and get learning about the audience in a new market, all of the reports are aimed at assisting you in getting the data that will facilitate learning. And the key takeaway that I would want all of you to have while accessing these reports is data should be used for learning and not for judgment. Your data will point towards early performance fluctuates. Your day one can be pretty good. Day two, day three, day four, you might not get any clicks or you might not get any of the orders. You need to focus more on the trends. Whenever you download the weekly reports, whenever you download bi-weekly reports, focus on how that entire week went by. What worked for you, what did not work for you. Don't look at individual day trends. And when you start off, like I said, there are tons of options. There are a lot of reports that Amazon will give you. A lot of reports mean a lot of numbers, which you might think need action immediately. Well, that's not true. Every number will have its own journey. We need to go step by step. And if we see a problem start of the funnel, then we'll get that addressed first and then move to the subsequent. So focus on the trends, not on a single day result, and try and gain as much learning from that particular data. This shows us that the reports that you can access, or by just simply looking at the ad console dashboard, what all are the features, what all are the learnings that you can get across the funnel. Ads console reports are not only going to just help you with how many orders I got, what was my spend. It is a full funnel view of where your ad is showing, how many people are clicking onto it, and how many orders are coming in. Here, I would want all of you to go back to our yesterday's example, जहां हमने ये कंसिडर किया था कि Amazon एक बहुत बड़ा शॉपिंग मॉल है and our brand is just one small store in that shopping mall. Let's focus on the left hand side matrices. The first lever is visibility. Now I'll explain visibility with both offline as a shopping mall and online as your store on Amazon. Visibility means how many shoppers noticed your store while they were just roaming around in the mall. In online context, how do we measure visibility? By impressions, which means how many people saw your ad on the search page, on the product detail page, how many people actually saw your ad. The second layer is interest. Offline, people saw your ad, which means how many people actually went by your store. They came next to your store, window shopping उन्होंने किया, and they felt interested in entering your particular store. Online, how do we measure interest? How many people clicked on your ad? So there are two matrices which Ads Console and the reports will give you here, which is how much clicks did come from your ads and what is your click-through rate. Click-through rate is nothing but clicks divided by impressions. जितने लोगों को ad दिख रही है, उनमें से कितने लोगों ने आपकी ad को click किया. The next level is consideration, which is how many people came inside your store, and post coming inside your store, how many people spend time in understanding your product. They picked up a product, they saw what exactly are the features and benefits. And online, how do we do that? We do that by checking how much of product page views did we get. And the last layer is purchases. Shoppers like the product when they come inside your store, and post that they end up making a purchase, making an order. So the Amazon Ads Console reports will give you data across these funnel stages: visibility, interest, consideration, and purchase. So that if there is a problem in your first level itself, which is impressions, you know that ki meri ad dikh hi nahi rahi hai. I'm not able to reach out to a much wider audience. Hence, I need to adjust my bid. I need to adjust my targeting so that I at least reach out to the relevant audience. Now, how does reporting on Amazon help you? First, reports show you how shoppers found you. What was the search term that they typed in the search bar and your ads came up on that page, and they ultimately ended up clicking on that, और किस सर्च टर्म से हमारे को ऑर्डर मिला. The foremost important thing that we need to understand is there are more than 50 different types of reports that you can get on Ads Console. However, to start off your journey, you only need to focus on one, which is going to be your starting point. Don't get too overwhelmed with 100 plus matrices, 50 plus reports. We'll walk you through one report from which you need to start off your journey of understanding the data and taking data-backed decisions on Amazon. With further ado, what we'll do is we'll quickly go to Amazon Ads Console and we'll start off with the live demo of how you can access and download these reports. I'm just going to quickly change the screen share source and then we will start off with the live demo. I'm sharing the Ads Console of my test account. Anyone can go ahead and just give me a quick thumbs up so that I can be sure that my screen is replicating. Super. Thank you so much. I'm just checking my comments. Anish, I think you highlighted that the screen sharing is stopped. I hope now it's visible as others have confirmed. Perfect. So this is how the Ads Console would look. We saw a quick demo of it yesterday. Now, how can you access reports? Same, in the left-hand side, you will see all of these menus, all of these options. To access reports, we need to look for an option called measurement and reporting. Once you find that particular option, In the sub menu, we need to click for the option sponsored ads reports. Now, just so that everyone gets it, the repetition of the process is go to the left hand side menu section, click on measurement and reporting as the theme, and under that you will have an option called sponsored ads reports. Click on that and it will ask you what kind of report do you want to create. Now, this is a test account and we have created quite a lot of reports, and all of your past reports would be shown here. But if you're creating it for the first time, all you have to do is click on create report. And once you do that, there are just a couple of decisions that you need to take before you can download your report. We have only been running sponsored product till now, basis yesterday's example. So I will select sponsored products in the category. Now, what kind of report am I looking for? I've just started with automatic targeting. Hence, I'm trying to look for search term report. But you can see there are quite a lot of reports available. You can get campaign level reports, you can get targeting level reports, you can even get your budget and placement level reports. But to keep things simple, we'll start off with a first report that is super important for you to understand and take advertising decisions that are data backwards. We click on search term. You click on the country. If you are operating in more than one country, you can select the country for which you would want that report. I'm more interested into a summary, which is for the last 17 or 14 days or last 7 or 14 days. And then I'll give that report a name. Let's say here I'm giving it last 7 days, men shoes. And I'll enter the email ID on which I want that report to be shared. c@amazon.com or whatever is your email ID on which you want that. We will add that email ID. And when do we want that report? There are options of future or recurring as well. I'm more concerned about getting that report now. I'll click this and I click on run report. And within a couple of minutes, you will have that report created and shared with you on email. Plus here as well, you will have that report created. All you have to do is click on download icon there and the report will open. Now I'll take a quick pause here to understand that all of us have actually gone through the process of how I can download my first report before changing the screen to an Excel wherein we'll go ahead and analyze. A quick 1 minute pause. If anyone has any queries on how and where you can access these reports, you can put up your chat questions and we can address them right away. Otherwise, go ahead, give a thumbs up, and then we proceed with the Excel. Superb. I think I've just got one, which is, okay, couple of queries, which is just summarizing the report download process. And I'm going to do that again within a minute. Now to download your search term report, once you're logged in, this is how your ad console is going to look. All you have to do is go to the left hand section, measurement and reporting section में जाके, you have to find sponsored ads reports. And once you get there, you have to click on create report and choose the product and the type of report that you want. Sponsored products, search term report. I'm looking for a summary of my data for the last 7 days. Enter the email ID and tap on run report. I hope that was easy to follow. And now I'm going to change the screen share source to an Excel wherein we will talk about how you can analyze the data of a search term report. Perfect. A quick thumbs up confirmation if the Excel is visible. I'm showcasing an Excel with a couple of blue columns, yellow rows, and a few keywords. Superb. So everyone has their own methodology, their own process of reading the reports, what they call that particular report. I'll try and give you certain inputs, certain tips that are widely accepted. How I generally go about in terms of analyzing this report is I try to understand which are the keywords, which are the search terms that can be classified as winners, and which are the keywords, which are the products that can be classified as wasted spends. Hence, in this one, you can give it your name. There is nothing that Amazon gives on that particular front. ये सिर्फ मेरी methodology का नाम है that I'll share with you, and that is widely acceptable by all of the advertisers. All I'm trying to do with my search term report is understanding which customer search term can be a winner for me and which customer search term is a complete waste, where either I'm not getting clicks or I'm getting clicks, I'm just paying for them, but I'm not getting any orders. Now, this is a sample report with a similarity to the example that we created yesterday, which was for running shoes. Once you download your search term report, it will have quite a lot of columns. What I've done is, so it will have start date, end date, portfolio, currency, what was the name of the campaign and the country, just to make it easier and have all of the things in one view. I'm going to hide these columns and focus on the things that matter. You can also do the same. Now, to start off, we want to understand how our ads performed in the last 14 days. You'll have a view of what was the targeting group. Yesterday, we talked about close match, lose match, and also substitute and complements. So once you download the report, you will have everything available to you. Only then you can take a call that is close match working for you, is lose match a waste, or what is working between substitute and complements if both of these were live in your campaign. Match types would have match types when you are running a manual campaign. Exact match, broad match, phrase match. We'll cover them in brief today once we move to the manual campaign topic. But this is pertaining to an automatic targeting campaign. Hence, there is no concept of match type in that. There is only a targeting group concept. So in the last 14 days, what I have received is about 12,000 impressions, 11,1295 to be precise, 272 clicks, and so on. The first thing that I need to understand is impressions. मेरी ad कितने लोगों को दिखी? How many people actually went ahead and saw my ad? Total 11,295. And at a search term level, running shoes जिसने search किया, उसको मेरी ad 5,000 बार दिखी. If someone searched for sports shoes, my ad was displayed to that customer 526 times in the last 14 days, and so on. Because we had substitute and complement also targeted. ASIN 1, which is a competition targeting, showed 38 times, ASIN 2, ASIN 3, and so on. And this takes an example that we had not put women running shoes as a negative keyword in our campaign. कल के example में तो हमने डाल दिया था, but assuming that women running shoes was not added as a negative keyword. So people who searched for women running shoes saw my ad as much as 251 times. Now remember, we talked about sponsored products is a CPC model ad, pay per click. So this is my impressions. My ad was displayed to 11,295 instances, which doesn't mean that I was billed for so much time. मेरी जो billing होगी, that would be on the basis of clicks. How many people actually went ahead and clicked on my ad, which is for running shoes. Out of 5,068 impressions, I received 145 clicks. And then so on, I'll create the click-through rate, which is CTR, which is nothing but dividing your clicks with impressions, which will tell you that is my ad performing good? Anything beyond 1.5%, 2% is a good click-through rate to start off. If it is lower than that, we need to work on either our ad copy, our main image, and we'll cover those topics as well. If this is the issue that you face, this is the resolve. This report will also give you that for a search term, what was your cost per click. Overall, account level pay, I ended up paying 33 cents for 272 clicks. But at a search term, running shoes clicks came at 35 cents, whereas sports shoe clicks came at 24 cents. Black shoes for gym came at 19 cents, and so on. It will also give you your total spend, your total cost. Over 14 days, I ended up spending $90, $89. And out of that $89, $50 was spent on running shoes as a keyword. The next thing that you would want to know is, we already know that which keyword gave us clicks. Now we want to know that which keyword gave us order, if we received any order in our first 2 weeks. The unit price for one shoe is $40. And assuming that I have received one order for running shoes as a search term, 2 orders for sports shoes as a search term, and within my ASIN competition targeting, that is under auto campaign targeting, I received another order at a selling price of 40. So in total, I have received 4 orders for the last 14 days, total sale of $160, and spent $90 on ads. Next thing, and the final thing that you would want to know is, what is my ACOS? Advertising cost of sales, which is to get one sale, how much money have you spent on ads? For running shoes, we see that I've spent $50. I've received only one order. Hence my ACOS is $40 divided by $50. My ACOS is 125%. Where that for the second keyword, which is sports shoes, I've only ended up spending $2, but that has given me 2 orders. And my ACOS is just 2%. And the same is the case for ASIN number 1. While there is another keyword, which is men running shoes size 9, where I've spent $30, but that has not given me any sale. Hence that will be shown as either blank or nil or no column entry for that one. Now, how do we analyze this particular report? We'll go keyword by keyword. 1, what is the relevance of that particular keyword in my overall ad strategy? Running shoes to start off. It is a relevant keyword in terms of clicks. Out of 11,000 clicks, I've got 5,000 clicks from this particular keyword. So good 45-50% of my clicks, impressions, sorry, are coming from here. When we talk about clicks, more than 50% clicks are coming from running shoes, and it is a relevant keyword. The click-through rate is also much better than my average of the account. But I've received only one order till now. My ACOS is 126%. What should be my decision? During initial phase, if the keyword is relevant and it is helping you build your visibility, do not pause or do not add that relevant as a negative keyword, because you are selling running shoes and running shoes is one of the most searched terms. But if people are clicking on it and ultimately not going ahead and purchasing, which means that people came to your product detail page, but somehow your product did not meet with the features that they had in their mind. It can be rework on headline. It can be a rework on your main image. It can be a rework on your bullet points, or it can just be a pretty long delivery tag or prices being pretty high versus competition. But when it comes to ads, do not pause a relevant keyword. You might want to go ahead and tone down the bids for this particular keyword within the range, because this is anyway operating slightly higher than your account level CPC. But don't pause a relevant keyword. The next keyword is sport shoes. The impressions are pretty less, which is an indication that the bids are slightly on the lower end of the range which is suggested. We have received click-through rate which is much lower than my account level, just 9 clicks. But out of that 9 clicks, I have 2 orders coming. My ACOS is just 2%. This indicates that sports shoes is a potential search term, a potential keyword that can become your number one winner. Where you are lacking as of now is impressions. We need to work on getting more and more impressions for sports shoes. And how you can do that is by enhancing your bid so that you can reach out to more audience who is looking and typing for sports shoes. Because to the people to whom we showed, they ended up purchasing 2 out of 9. That's more than 20% conversion rate. Similarly, when we talk about men running shoes size 9, now this is an example of wasted keyword. Why? This ad was shown to roughly 5,000 impressions. Clicks were about 95, hence it's 2% in terms of click-through rate, still near the benchmark. I ended up paying 32 cents per click. $30 is something that I ended up paying for building visibility on men running shoes 9. But there is no order. Now there are multiple reasons. For example, the shoes that you added did not actually have a size 9 variant. Or this is a very long tail keyword which is giving you low conversions. We have a good click rate, we have a good impression rate, but somehow our products don't have a high relevance for shoe size 9. Find those insights, find those patterns that are leading to leakage. And this is a great example of you building visibility for a product that is not being sold. Again, this is just an example. For your analysis, you have to find those examples by reading the data. Coming down to women running shoes within the keywords, assuming that yesterday we did not add that into a negative keyword, women running shoes, 251 impressions. We ended up paying this much. But ultimately, in our entire campaign targeting, there was nothing for women running shoes. It was all men running shoes. Hence, this becomes my potential negative targeting keyword. And again, if I don't have any selection for size 9 also becomes a potential negative targeting keyword. Now, once we analyze all of these data points from across the funnel perspective. Impressions, how many people saw the ad, how many people clicked on the ad, and how much of a sale that particular search term is generating. Then the next step is you need to apply those learnings. Step one, which is an analysis, is done. Now I know that, okay, running shoes is something to which I have to give at least a week or a couple of weeks more, but I can tone down my bid for this particular keyword as I'm a new listing and people are not really trusting me with one of the most searched keywords. Sports shoes is a potential good conversion keyword. I need to bid more aggressively to showcase to a higher impression audience. Men running shoe size 9 is the problem. I need to add that in my negative targeting. And women running shoe selection does not exist in my entire selection. I need to add that into negative. And you can even add competition keywords. If you feel that you are a new brand, you have much lower ratings and reviews than well-established brands like Nike, Adidas in this particular example, don't go after them. You can add these competition brands as your negative targeting by entering keywords like Nike, Adidas, Asics into your negative keyword targeting component. So how do you apply those learnings? First, pick up those terms which have given you clicks, which have given you orders, and create a manual targeting campaign. And pick up those ASINs which have given you orders and convert those also into a product targeting campaign. So it's no guesswork that, okay, I'm starting off with my manual, let's start off with this particular keyword. No, your data, your reports will give you that entire overview. The second thing is whatever is irrelevant, add that into negative keywords. And the last thing is don't do any guesswork on what is your budget requirement. Now, again, for that, there is a simple formula. Assuming that you have run ads for 14 days, you got 2 orders against 100 clicks. 100 बार लोग मेरे प्रोडक्ट डिटेल पेज पे आए आफ्टर क्लिकिंग एन एड एंड उनमें से मैंने 2 यूनिट्स का सेल किया. So what is my conversion rate? It is orders by clicks, which is 2%. And I ended up paying 33 cents for each of these clicks. Now, if I want to convert this 2 orders per week into 10 orders for my second week, how many clicks do I actually need? This is what you need to calculate, and this is what will decide your advertising budget. Now, how do we do that? You divide your estimated orders by your conversion rate, assuming that no major improvement will happen. अगर मैं 1.8, 1.9 की conversion पे चलता था, तो at max there is going to be an improvement of 2.12%. That's it. Remember, we talked about nothing is going to change overnight. You can't expect your conversion in week 1 to be 1% and in week 2 it goes to 10%. Ads don't operate like that. You will get to that 10%, but it is a very gradual learning exercise. It will only get to there if you take all of these optimization decisions and avoid the leakages. Coming back to the example, अगर मुझे 10 ऑर्डर चाहिए और मेरी कन्वर्जन 2% की है, तो 10 ऑर्डर लाने के लिए I will divide 10 by 2%, which will give me that I need 500 clicks in my next week to get to 10 orders. Assuming that CPC also remains constant, there is only a 2-cent increment. If there is any upward bid movement that will do, you will also control down on leakage and the CPC will more or less remain the same. Now, if I need to get 500 clicks at a CPC of 35 cents, You just multiply your clicks with your estimated CPC, and then you have the budget. So your previous week's budget was 33 cents into 100 clicks, which is $33. Now for the next week, your budget becomes $175 if you want to go ahead and get 10 orders. This is how we build structure. This is how we take data back decisions and not guess. Okay, I need to have $20 as my daily budget. Okay, 7 days would be 140, or I need to have $15 as my budget. The idea of having all of these reports is to assist you in taking decisions. First of all, knowing what is working, and then taking decisions which are data backed. And once you do that, this is unfortunately the same boring activity that you will do and keep on doing on a weekly basis. If you want to succeed and you want to ensure that you are building visibility continuously and avoiding leakages, this is the report that you will create as a recurring download every week, every Monday, every Wednesday. Pick up one day, spend 1 hour or even lesser than that. Find out what is working for you, put that into manual campaigns, find out what is not working for you, add that to negative keywords, and then finalize on your budget for next week. That's how optimization is done from a data backwards perspective. Now, what we'll do is we will quickly go back to a few use cases, and then we'll go back to the ads console to spend some time on manual targeting tips and tricks. I'm just going to reshare the screen and go back to the deck. And once it's visible, any one of you can give me a thumbs up and we can proceed. Superb. In the meanwhile, I'll just spend 1 minute on the questions. Naved, unfortunately, we can't share the recording of the session. We are working with our internal teams to ensure that maybe the next sessions that we do, we are able to share that. But unfortunately, as of now, we can't share it. So I'll request you to be attentive onto that. There is one more question by Ketan, more of like a request. I think your screen is not visible. I hope screen is visible now. And got it. I think the remaining questions, I do have one from Nitish and Rahul, which is more onto the overall question theme that we'll take in the Ask Me Anything section. So let's quickly close this portion. We talked about there are 3 scenarios which can happen and which would be pointed out from your search term report. Scenario 1, high impressions, low clicks. लोग आपकी एड देख तो रहे हैं बट उस एड पे क्लिक नहीं कर रहे, which means that shoppers are seeing your product, are seeing your ad, but they are not willing to engage. Now, possible reason for that: one, your main listing quality, your main listing image is not that great. Second, your price and refined targeting is required. You are either going too broad. For example, अगर running shoes की ही example लें, your ad is showing against sneaker, shoes, sandals, and it's not really surgical in terms of targeting. It's too broad. That is the reason why your ad will be kept on showing to multiple audience, but it's not relevant. They'll not feel like clicking onto it because उनकी requirement ही नहीं है. Second scenario is clicks are coming, but orders are not coming, which is they have ended up clicking on your ad, ended up coming onto your product detail pages, but did not go ahead and make a purchase. Now, there are 2 reasons. One is highlighted here, which is fix listing. Your listing lacks basics of A plus content, reviews are much lower, which we understand will take time, or delivery timeline is, let's say, 7 days versus the competition's delivery timeline of 2 days, or the pricing is 10, 15, $20 more than the competition. Now, trust me, there is nothing wrong in having your product priced at premium, but you need to communicate why your product is priced premium. If you are also selling the same bedsheet that I am selling at $50 and you are selling at $35, then I need to have a very good listing and tell the customers कि वो $15 मेरे product के लिए extra क्यों दें? Why should they end up paying a $15 premium? And why should they not go ahead with the product which you are selling for $35? If my listing is not able to do that, you will be going ahead into this particular bucket. Second ad related reason why this must happen is, if you recall yesterday's example, we talked about sponsored display, how one brand was protecting their product detail pages by showcasing their selection, which was brand defense. Now, if I do a lot of bidding, I do quite a lot of aggressive ads on search page, एंड मैं इतना सारा पैसा खर्च करके एक कस्टमर का क्लिक अपने प्रोडक्ट डिटेल पेज पे लेके आता हूं, बट डिटेल पेज के ऊपर आके दे एंड अप क्लिकिंग ऑन कॉम्पिटिशंस एड, hence all of that money that I've spent goes waste. The customer goes from my funnel to the competition's funnel. So two reasons and two possible resolves. One, either your listing needs fixing, or the second is you need to have a strong brand defense. Don't let competition take visibility on your product detail pages. The third scenario is low impressions. I've started ads, I've set the bid, but 7 दिन हो गए, hardly 100 impressions आए, which is an indication that your ad is not even showing up. Now, why would that happen is आपकी bid जो उस टाइम पे prevailing bid range है उससे बहुत नीचे चल रही है. If the bid range for a keyword in bed sheets is 18 cents to 24 cents, आपने probably 15 cents की bid लगा रखी है जो page 1 पे दिखाई नहीं रही. And if any customer is going to page 2 or page 3, only to them your ad is showing. Or the other reason can be everything is fine, but आपने budget ही $5 का डाल रखा है. अब $5 के अंदर आपको hardly उतने ही click मिल पाएंगे जितने आपके CPC के based है. With a $5 budget, you can't go ahead and have your campaign running throughout the day. So if you are falling into that bucket of low impressions, which means there is limited visibility, that's an indication that you need to correct that situation by increasing your bid or broadening a little your targeting. Before we get to this one question, what we will do is spend some time on understanding the manual campaign tips, and then we'll come back to this particular question. Again, going back to the ads console, and we will quickly over the next 2 to 3 minutes spend some time on how you can go about, or what are the 2-3 things that you need to avoid when you are creating a manual targeting campaign. A lot of people also ask, how do I do keyword research? क्या मुझे third party tools use करने चाहिए? How would I get to know which keywords are performing, which search terms are performing for me? Well, the answer to that particular question is very simple. One, if you are running automatic targeting campaign, your search term reports will give you that data point. Try and create a campaign, you'll have a lot of suggestions coming on the screen, that which keyword you need to target, which keyword you need to avoid. And the third source, which is available to all, is we go on the marketplace where you are selling, or जो भी आप product sell करते हो. For example, Running shoes is what I sell. I'll type running shoes and you will see these are the most searched keywords for my category. Running shoes for men, सबसे ज़्यादा. Then running shoes for women, running shoes for men, Nike, running shoes for boys, girls, and so on. This is ranked in terms of what is the most relevant and what is being searched the most. So there are three sources: automatic targeting search term reports. Second is whenever we create a new campaign under manual targeting, the system itself will show which are the top searched keywords. Or you simply go to अगर आप .com में sell कर रहे हो, amazon.com, type in your keyword, and then you will see which are the keywords which are being searched the most. Moving back to the example, again, either you click on create campaign on the left hand section, or we select create campaign as an option, which is shown just after a little scroll. Today, we are going to focus on manual targeting tips and tricks, which is under sponsored products. I'll select sponsored products and create campaign inside. Ad groups we talked about, there is no change. Again, I have certain data for men running shoe, and I am starting with a manual targeting campaign for men running shoes. I'll select the products जिनके ऊपर मेरे को ads चलानी है. For example, I am gonna add, again, do remember not include products which are out of stock or temporarily out of stock. All of those need to be out of your campaign. Now I've selected two products for my manual campaign, which are both in the same theme. Both of them are priced above $100, and I'll see whether there is anything else that fits into that particular criteria. There needs to be something common in the products that you are advertising so that they can fall in the same ad group. My recommendation, if you have products which have different selling price ranges, for example, you sell bed sheets in $15 to $20 range, and you also sell bed sheets in the range of $75 to $80, create different campaigns for them. The same keyword which will work for $15 to $20 might not work for the $75. Hence here, I'm choosing the price range which is very specific to a particular range, and I'm not going to add products which are $50 shoe or $70 shoe or even $35 shoe. Once I select that product, I'll move ahead and select manual targeting. Now in manual targeting, you have two basic options. या तो हम keyword targeting कर सकते हैं, या तो हम product targeting कर सकते हैं. Now keyword, we talked about search terms have given us certain keywords that we need to pick and we need to go ahead with, or you will have these features coming in. So the products that I have selected, unke related, which are the top keywords that I should be bidding on, and what is the suggested bid. Running shoe, Gel Nimbus 27, because the data is telling me that Gel Nimbus 27, which is a part of this particular shoe, is being searched the most. One of the most searched terms. So rather than searching and finding that, you have that coming in here. Sneakers, men. Now these are running shoes. If you want to be very particular, you will not select that. Asics Gel Kayano is the second product feature for a different product. To start off, avoid broad, go ahead with phrase and exact, but again, go ahead with a different campaign or at least a different ad group for phrase and exact. The difference between broad, phrase, and exact, you can get here in terms of our help section also. Spending a couple of minutes on this, there are three match types. Broad match. Now, as the name suggests, if I'm making an ad for shoe, the keyword is sneakers, but that will end up showcasing on canvas sneakers, sneakers, basketball shoes, athletic shoes, trainers, foam runners, anything that is related to shoes that people are using to type. A broad audience. The second one is phrase match. For example, if my keyword, a different product example, but if my example is curtain rod, now if the customer is searching for something where curtain rod comes exactly like this, there can be a few things before and after that search term. For example, here it is extra long curtain rods. Extra long is the prefix, but my search term curtain rod is coming as it is. Hence, phrase match will show my ad to this customer. Or if they are searching for curtain rods for bedroom, where for bedroom is the suffix जो उसने keyword के बाद लगाया है, still it will be shown to the phrase match customer. An exact match is if the customer is searching only for that keyword. If we continue with this example, just to have that uniformity, if curtain rods is under exact match, my ad would only show to customer who has only searched curtain rods and not to someone who has searched for curtain rods for bedroom or curtain rods for hall or anything else. I hope this helps us. And if you forget about what do broad, phrase, exact mean, while you're creating the campaign, just come to this particular section and you can again have a view of these particular use cases. Now here, what I like is this particular keyword I want to run. I'm only going to run phrase match ads for this campaign. I'll add running shoes and this keyword gets added. At max, try and add no more than 7 to 10 keywords per campaign. Only then each of the keywords will have the required amount of budget to showcase your product and ultimately to give you reliable data that which keyword is performing well and which keyword is not performing well. Now, basis my analysis, basis the bid, I have selected 4 keywords on which I would want to build my manual campaign visibility. We talked about negative keyword yesterday. If there is anything that I would want to target here, I can add it. Bids up and down only, fixed, we covered yesterday. And again, top of the search, just going ahead with the example that we talked about yesterday, we'll have a 25% add-on to my base bid. Final decision is give campaign a name, have a start date, end date, and if my base bid is close to, I would say, an average of 35, then 35 cents, 100 clicks, $35 needs to be my budget. Luckily, the system is also suggesting us the same. We will match that and we will just simply go ahead and launch the campaign. This is what we need to do for keyword targeting campaign. What we need to know is first select the products which have certain common features. It can be pricing, it can be size, it can be anything on those front. Don't advertise a lot of products within one campaign. Don't advertise products of different selling price when the gap between selling price is huge. You would not have reliable learning there. Choose the keywords. You can research keywords with automatic targeting. You can select the keywords which the console tells you, or simply just go on the ad.com, amazon.com, and see which are the keywords that are most searched for. And if somehow you don't get the keyword that you want to add here, all you have to do is come here, enter the list, and add your keywords here, separated by either a comma or a new line. Just keep on adding. Let's say Asics shoes. I'll add that here. It will come as a suggestion and I'll add it here. This keyword gets added as Asics shoes under phrase. The bid range is $24 to $40 and 32 is my suggested range. The second one that we'll spend just a couple of more minutes is on product targeting. Another feature under manual targeting. Now, product targeting has two options. If you know against which competition product your product is doing well, You can add them. Similarly, enter the ASINs of the competition that we got from our Excel sheet, ASIN 1, ASIN 2, ASIN 3, or here as well, you will have certain suggestions like ASICs. All of these are the products which are, I mean, in my case, it's showing my products on which I need to bid there. Or if it is a very initial phase and you want to build category level visibility, men's road running shoes is one browse node under which your products are listed. But the thing to note here is never enable it as it is. Do add certain refinements. There is an option of refining your target. There are close to 60,000 to 1 lakh products in this particular category which are live as of now. You add a refinement, choose the competition products against which you would want to showcase your product. अगर आपको पता है आपका प्रोडक्ट कौन से कॉम्पिटिटर के अगेंस्ट अच्छा कर सकता है, select them. Otherwise, make those filtrations in price range. Now I know that I am promoting a product which is priced more than $100 for shoes. तो मेरे को उन्हीं products के against दिखाना है which are in my price range. I don't want to show my ad to someone who is on a product detail page for a $35 shoe. $35 shoe वाला कभी भी $125 वाला shoe नहीं खरीदेगा. And you will end up wasting your ad money in terms of leakage by showing your ad to that person. So enter the price range. If there is no upper limit, you can either leave that blank or just add it, let's say $200. $90 to $200 is my price range. There are 24,000 products listed in that. Now I don't want to show it to someone who is already at a 4 above rating because my product is new and they might not come in. And your now targeting narrows down to 2,000 to 4,000 products. I'll add that. And now I have refined targeting of showcasing my product to competition running shoes, inclusive of my running shoes also, because I've not deselected my brand, जिनकी rating 0 से 4 star है और जिनका selling price $90 से $200 में है. And for each visibility, each click, I am willing to pay 75 cents. The range is 56 cents to 94 cents, and I'm just adding that. And once you select, go ahead and click on launch campaign. The tip is for every targeting type, have a different campaign and take steps. Start off with automatic. You have identified keywords, start off with keyword targeting in your week 2. Once you finalize that, okay, keywords is performing well and you have a good product feedback on 10 to 15 competition key products on which you can do well, then select and then start product targeting, so that you don't make the mistake of the case study we talked about of launching 15 plus campaigns to start off, which will lead to quite a lot of leakages. So here, what I'll do is I'll go back to our deck and we will quickly cover as to what we need to avoid and how we need to go about for the remaining set. But before that, I think let's quickly have a small break and answer this particular poll question. We talked about where we can access our advertising reports, how you can read the reports. We had that Excel example coming in. Now is the time for me to understand, did I actually do a good job or no? So you can help us whether the example that we talked about, whether the demo that we showed is helping you in understanding where can you download the reports, number one, and how you need to interpret those reports. There are 4 options. You're still confused, which is perfectly fine. These reports, like I said, are overwhelming. Or there are subsequent options. Yes, somewhat confident. I'll give it a try and get more knowledge onto it. Go ahead, we'll spend another 30 seconds on covering up this particular question. Another 10-15 seconds. I can still see some of you are yet to answer. Let's spend some time and then we can go ahead. Good. I think about 50 plus now. Okay. About 85% of you have answered between yes, somewhat confident, and yes, very confident. So great to know that the session has been really helpful. And for the remaining, we'll try and provide you with certain supporting material, or you can probably reach out to us in the chat box and we can address those queries before we close today's session. Like I said, it is still the initial time. It's still you learning about your ads. So what not to do at this particular stage? We covered a few of these patterns yesterday. One is don't over optimize. Don't go ahead and download report daily and make those changes daily. Set a frequency, which should be not more than a week. At least every week you need to download these reports, do analysis and make optimization corrections. Second, don't make changes by analyzing day trends. हो सकता है आज कोई भी सेल ना आए या आज कोई भी क्लिक ना आए. You pause certain keywords and next day for that particular keyword you might get an opportunity and you might get 2 orders. So don't go ahead and take decisions on daily trends. Always go ahead with a summary. Download 7-day, 14-day report, understand the pattern, the long-term pattern, and then take decisions. And the third one is a repetition of what I strongly recommend and we talked about yesterday. Don't compare your performance with mature sellers. Same example, you are in chapter 1, chapter 2. Don't compare that, okay, there is another advertiser whose ACOS is just 10%, whereas I am at 80%. Remember that advertiser has been live on Amazon and Amazon ads for 2 years. They too have gone through that particular phase. And you too will ultimately go through that phase. The idea is just to be a little faster in learning by adopting these tips and tricks. A quick summary for what you should be doing in your first 30 to 60 days. Keep your auto campaign running as only to know more and more about your customers. With time, review your reports, move performing keywords and products into manual targeting. And if you get certain indication from those search terms that, okay, this is a particular keyword which is working well for me, make improvement in your listings as well. You have images, you have bullet point, or maybe include that particular feature in your headline. And only explore subsequent ad formats once you have a good hold on sponsored product. Once it is generating quite a lot of clicks, then move to sponsored brands and then subsequently move to sponsored display. Or initially you can adopt sponsored product for building visibility, building clicks, and sponsored display for brand defense. Sponsored brands can be taken up at a later stage because you need images, you need videos, and those are time consuming. These are, I'm thanks to one of you who pointed out that there are certain new seller incentives. And those new seller incentives are not just for ads, they are across various themes. What I'll do is put up a link in the chat window wherein you can all go ahead and read much more into detail. But stressing more onto ads, Amazon can help you with an ad credit of up to $1,000 if you are new in your advertising journey and start off with your first ad campaign. It is a tiered sponsored products credit scheme wherein you put $50 for learning in the first month and Amazon gives you back ad credits for $50. And there are different layers to it. You spend $200, you get $200 back. You get $1,000 spent and you get $1,000 back within your first 90 days of activating your first campaign. I'll share the link and you can read more about that particular scheme. And not just this, other schemes as well, coupons, Amazon Wine, and make benefit of these particular schemes. Just to summarize, before we get into the Q&A section, the key messages that I would want you to remember from this entire 2-day session is start off with visibility, use Amazon ads as a learning, use those data points for improvement, and then ultimately get on that growth journey. Which brings me to the last question for today before we get into the Q&A section. Evaluate what was your understanding before you started off with these sessions, and now do you have more confidence, do you have more knowledge of how to use ad products, where to use which ad product, where can you download certain reports? Are you in a more confident situation than yesterday when you knew a little less about Amazon ads? This is an important question for us. This is a great feedback for us. So I'd request all of you to go ahead and enter your responses. This tells us what needs to be worked upon from our end in terms of improvement, so that when we come back to you in March with the next series, we include those topics also. And you can enter your feedback in the post session survey as well. In the meanwhile, if any of you have questions, I would request you to go ahead and paste those questions in the chat window, and we will slowly, one by one, start addressing them. For this poll question, let me just spend another 15 seconds before closing that. So Bob, I think we have about 85% of you replying that yes, I am somewhat confident and I am very confident. So we have an equal 44% coming in for these two. There are 15% of the audience in total, which is still in the first two buckets, still confused and not confident yet. We will try and provide you with additional detail over emails, and do look out for those emails, and you can reach out to us by replying on those and sharing your feedback as to how we can improve further and what you would want us to cover more. If you liked the kind of content that we talked about, and I do see a question on which software, which tool to use for creating studio level images and videos. This is just one example that I'm showcasing of a product on a clear white background. And on the right, you see the images that Amazon's internal tool, which is available to all of you free of cost, can do in terms of creating studio quality images. So if you are interested in being a part of that session, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be a very engaging session that is happening on this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. I've just pasted the link for registration for that session, and you can register for that session and join us on Saturday at 11, wherein we will not just talk about these tools, but also do a demo like we did for today's session of how you can use Amazon's internal tools to create images, avoid cost, avoid agency reiterations, and go about creating your sponsored brand, sponsored display images and videos at no extra cost by using Amazon ad tools. If you're interested, go ahead and register on the link. And now, yeah, we will start off with the Q&A section. I'll go about taking each of your questions one by one. And if you don't have any questions and you are dropping off, my earnest request is once you close this window, you'll have a feedback form, feedback survey coming in. Do enter your feedback. That will help us in terms of planning for subsequent sessions. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay, so I'm going to start off with right from the first question that I see in the chat window. I have a question right in the initial by Ayush. How is click different from product page view, and where do I see these on campaign performance page or reports? Correct. It's a great question. One is a click. The difference between click and a product page view is there can be certain drop-offs between the timeline a person clicks on your ad and they get onto product page view, which we generally call as a bounce rate. Now, the report can also give you that particular detail, or the ad console can also give you that view immediately. Now, once you come onto the ad console, this is how the ad console would look. I hope my screen is replicated. Correct. So this is how the ad console would look. All you have to do is just scroll down and you will have an option to select the columns that you would want to see. In the columns option, you will be having those options as to कौन से columns आपको देखने हैं. These are all a lot of matrices. Like I said, don't get too overwhelmed. Start off with the basics. Start off with options like I want to see what is my ad impression, कितने लोगों ने ad देखा, कितनों ने click किया, and what was my detail page view. So both of these would be visible to you within your ad console. Starting from impression, how many people clicked, what is my CTR, how much I ended up paying, and what is my detail page views. To answer your query, you can see it here. And to answer your query, the difference between clicks and the difference between detail page view is clicks is कितने लोगों ने ad पे click किया. And you'll have a small definition also next to this metric. And how many people actually came to the product detail page. There are chances that 100 people clicked on the ad, but उस 100 के अंदर से before all of them could come on to my product detail page, 2 3 या 4 लोगों का bounce हो गया, network issue आ गया, and they could not ultimately come on to the product detail page, or they just went to the previous screen. So the difference between clicks and detail page view is going to be that minute number of people who clicked but did not end up coming on the detail page. I hope this answers your question. Next question that we have is the search terms from the report should be used in listing. Yes, Rahul, that's a great insight that we talked about as well. Search terms will tell you which are the keywords, which are the search terms जिससे आपको click मिल रहे हैं, जिससे आपको orders मिल रहे हैं. For example, there is a sipper that you are selling. Now it could be that आपका search term आपको ये point out करे that sipper for office or bottle for office is one search term or keyword which is giving you a lot of clicks and order, unlike gym, which is the ideal use case. So once you see that, okay, this is a search term and ये insight मेरे detail page में या heading में missing है, you can add that in your listing quality. You can either create an image, or you can add that bottle for office goers as one of the keywords in your headline itself. That's a great way of getting insights for the search term reports. Thanks a lot for pointing out. The next question that I have is from Nitish. Let's assume there is a search term which is highly relevant to me, but the keyword is just bleeding and not getting any sales. Should we pause that or should we keep it enabled? We covered that. I think the first keyword option that we were talking about was the same of that running shoe, which was a very relevant keyword. But in the first week, that has given me 125% ACOS. Our recommendation, give it another week or two. But if it is extensive bleeding, you can tone down your bid. थोड़ा कम level पे उसको bid करके देखो. Try and build that visibility if it is improving. But if that condition situation goes on for the next 2 weeks as well, simply go ahead and pause it, because Despite that being relevant, it is not leading to any order, not leading to any click. Also, to correct that is there are things that you might want to correct on a product detail page, because ads is bringing the traffic, ads is bringing people onto your product detail page, but वहां आने के बाद वो transact नहीं कर रहे हैं, they are not buying it. So there can be some non-ad reason as well why conversions is not happening, but your CTRs are good, people are coming and clicking onto it. I think we already addressed Naveed. Unfortunately, we can't share the recording, but we are working on it. Probably the next time when we meet, we would be able to share the recording with all of you as well. We have noted that down as a major requirement. Question from Omkar: can we trust third-party apps like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout? Yes, a lot of people do trust these websites, and you too can go ahead. But again, my recommendation would be a lot of data, a lot of initial level data is available to you at free of cost. Auto campaigns, well, that's not free of cost, आप campaign run करोगे वो learning के लिए, but again, once you start off with manual campaign and amazon.com or dot any of the other marketplace search bar will give you that data. So if Helium 10 or Jungle Scout is costly, expensive, try out the free options first, and then if it goes ahead, you can try out the paid versions too. Do ad campaigns have an impact on Rufus searches? Not as of now. There are certain new features getting launched. This is a question by Rahul. There are new features like sponsored ads prompts, which are getting launched, which are in beta phase. Those have an impact on Rufus, but as such, ads don't have an impact on Rufus. I have another example from Nitish. What should be the best campaign nomenclature? How many products should be targeted in a single campaign and single ad group, and tell the pros and cons of each? I think we should have a separate session on that. But just to answer it in a minute, nomenclature should be such that you as an ad operator should be able to view and understand कि इस ad campaign का purpose क्या है. My approach can be different from yours, but sit and make it intuitive so that even if someone in your team wants to go ahead and sit and understand that, okay, what is this ad product about? Generally, the approach that I follow is starting off with the ad product. If it is a sponsored product, the first thing is going to be SP, then underscore. I would enter what is my aim of that campaign. Is it building awareness? Is it building consideration? Underscore, and then I would talk about what ad type it is, auto targeting, and then so on. So approach can be yours, it can be internal. There is no hard and fast rule or no approach as which is widely accepted for that particular one. Can we trust third-party apps? We have addressed that question. Okay, what should be, again another question, what should be daily budget for new listing product at the initial stage from a premium product? We covered that yesterday also, we covered that today in terms of try and understand that basis your bid, basis your base bid, 100 clicks लाने के लिए आपको कितना budget चाहिए. Start off for the first few days on that particular level and then slowly scale. Understand that key, if it is $30, $30 डालने के बाद, are your campaigns running at least till 8 or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or are they getting exhausted by 12 in the afternoon, which means that for the rest of the day you are not even having your ads visibility. So we need to ensure, one, how to get 100 clicks and ensuring that the campaign runs throughout the day. I hope that answers your question. There's one question from Gulista Parveen. What was the name of the software you used for creating, okay, high quality images and videos? That's an internal tool that's called Amazon Creative Studio. And we are having a session, luckily,